Hey guys, how you doing? It's Paul from Paul's Karts, and what I want to talk about in today's video is build planning. Now, build planning in the eyes of the consumer. So basically, a couple things that you would want to do whenever you're going to start a build is have a plan and have a budget. This is a Predator 212, which is one of the most common platforms that you'll find out on the streets in the mini bikes and in the go-karts. There's a lot of classes that run a Predator 212, and in the Predator classes you have to have a Predator 212 block. So in a class that's a Predator class, or if you're looking to get into the sport and trying to get engine, a Predator 212 is a normal starting point for most people, and they're extremely budget friendly. So the Predator, people say it was usually a $100 engine, but it's kind of, every time I've gone and purchased it, maybe I'm just not lucky, but they haven't had those coupons anymore, and I've always paid $139 plus tax. So when you start thinking about that, you're probably around the $175 point, and for the $175, what you're basically paying for is a block and possibly a crank, depending upon what you're going to do with it. I mean, as you could see this build, the coil's been switched, the flywheel's been switched, the side cover's been switched, the head is a performance head, the valve cover's been switched, the rockers have been switched, the valves have been switched, the springs have been switched, the retainers, the keepers, the push rod, the piston rod, the cam, basically every part of the engine. Even we don't use the carb, we don't use the exhaust, we don't use the intake, we don't use the manifold, we don't use those gaskets, we don't reuse really any of it. And even the block itself, we need to plug the holes, and we need to remove governors. So when you buy a Predator, you're actually working backwards to get to a point where you can start working forwards from. So that's why I refer to the Predator as a trap. It's basically better if you're just starting off a build to buy a block and buy a crank, and then you're only at you're under actually $100, and then all the other stuff you don't have to spend the time disassembling the engine, cleaning everything, getting back to a 0 point, and then working forward. So I mean, when you buy the $140 Predator plus tax, you actually have to bring it home, go get it, bring it home, take it apart, break it all down, and for $140 you're buying a block and a crank. So that's just one viewpoint. That's my opinion. Obviously that's just my opinion, and I'm just trying to give my opinion on things as a builder. Some people might, use the side covers, stuff like that. We just don't use really stock side covers. I can't remember the last build I put a stock side cover on. I got a stack of them. I can't even sell them. They don't sell on the site. They don't sell. We throw away them, 10, 15 at a time. Just throw them in the trash, and we keep a few on hand just in case someone buys them. But, the Predator engine that we sell on the site, I think is $1,500. And it's a great budget engine. So when you were planning out the build, you want to plan for your budget. Now, if I did buy a Predator engine and I had, say I had $1,000 budget for an engine, the complete budget, that includes buying the engine, that includes buying everything. I would probably not start with the Predator, but say we did start with the Predator because we were in a Predator class or we had a Predator block, you would really want to, once you have the Predator, you would want to do the head cam and the carb. Those three items right there, the head cam and carb, are going to control your power production once your bottom end CC is fixed. So there's a couple ways you can increase power in an engine. The easiest way is to increase displacement, because whenever you're talking about increasing power, what you're talking about is increasing power per cubic inch. So the easiest way to increase power is to physically increase the cubic inches of the engine. So to physically start with a bigger engine, whether it's a bigger bore or adding a bigger stroke, you're increasing the displacement of the engine, you're adding cubic inches, and depending upon your head, cam, and carb, you have basically a horsepower per cubic inch percentage. So normal Predator build is around 1 horsepower per cubic inch. A 212 I think is around 12.9 cubic inches. So, you know, if you do one up, head, cam, and carb, from just, you know, yourself, if you're doing it yourself, if you buy a carb, say off somebody, you buy a carb, then you buy a cam from like Dyno Cams or NR Racing or Isky or something. You buy a cam, precision cams, and then you go and you buy, say, a header and stuff like that. You might get that stock head up to, you know, 1 horsepower per cubic inch, which is around, you know, 12 horsepower. And that's where most people are with their builds. And you'll have a guy that has 12 horsepower and he'll think he has 20. He'll think he might have more than 20. And that's when you're talking about horsepower per cubic inch, that horsepower per cubic inch, to increase that without increasing displacement, without increasing the actual cubic inch of the engine, to increase the horsepower per cubic inch of the engine, you need to really focus on your cylinder head, your cam, and your carb. Those are the ones that make the engine more efficient, just within their, you know, their trapping ability of the air. So anything you can do head, cam, and carb wise within that $1,000 budget would be very wise. So, and to pick out a head, cam, and carb that are all working together. So if you're planning your engine and you have a budget, what you would want to do is figure out combinations that are known to work, right? Because what we've found, just through, you know, years, so we've done building now small engines for the better part of, say, 10 years. And we've actually started kind of building for the public in the last maybe 4 or 5. And during that time, we have done so much testing because we came out originally just as doing engine competitions in the nationals that are, they come to Boston, or not to Boston, but they come to Quincy every year in November. So when we were doing that, we kind of found out the weak points of the engines, because the class we run in was a 500cc unlimited class, which is unlimited fuels, and it's a very active class, a lot of participants, and the engines would always find the weakest link. They would always show you the more power you would find, the more ability you are to trap the power, you're gonna find the weakest link. Whether it's the piston rod, which we all know about in the stock engines, it's brittle, or if it's the crank itself, the cast piston, whatever it be. Some of the blocks, when you start pushing a lot of power through them, ignition coils, spark plug, and then it can get really into depth after that. I'm just really skimming the surface. But those, you'll always find the weakest link. So taking from that testing, we have found what we did to make those engines work so well, and we're using that to bring to our line of engines that are used on like the street and the strip, basically like mini drag bikes, go-kart, stock appearing classes, open modified classes, and we're bringing that into our website as part of our engine design. Now, you can't really compare something that you build for the masses to a one-off, custom made by the builder at no budget, where somebody's just telling you, whatever you need, just buy it, and there's no budget. You're basically just told to win this event, and you just do whatever you think you can. So you just in that process, you just build up knowledge from trial and error. I remember one point where we had a pallet of 440 Duramaxes dropped off, and it was stacked probably 7-8 feet tall, and I took my picture next to it. It was this huge pallet of engines, and by the end of it, I think we had 3 left running, and that was when we were trying to figure out nitromethane and our percentages, and those things would just pop. And then once you start figuring out nitro, you're dealing with so much cylinder pressure that you really need to learn how to contain that, to work within those means, to really dial in ignition timing and develop camshafts and stuff like that. Now, a camshaft for a nitro ending, timing for a nitro engine, stuff like that is completely different, but they're all based on what you need to be looking at and where is your area of focus. So when it comes down to like a Predator engine, a lot of the people that put the Predator engines out there, they do a bad job at giving strength to the engine. You know what I mean? So when we put ours out there, we wanted to make sure that when you get this 212 cc's, that's the displacement of it, that you get a bulletproof 212 cc engine. Now, this thing has as you can see it looks like a big diamond sitting there for the price. I mean, we got the billet flywheel, we got the billet side cover, we have the billet valve cover, we have billet rockers, gauge rockers in there. We have roller tip gauge rockers. We have stainless steel 3228 valve train. This customer actually added that ignition coil. That's the hot coil. That doesn't actually come on this engine, but it's like $30, and I'm actually going to put it as a link in that description to that engine where you can just add that, because that right there really puts it over the top. In my eyes, it just looks like, a really nice build. It's got billet ARC raw. It has the PKRPM3 camshaft. That's the camshaft that we use in even our most expensive engine. And it has the 3228 seats in there, and it's ported, and this thing is the real deal for the price, So we actually threw them in the exhaust bolts, exhaust gasket, all the assemblies done on this, copper head gasket, the whole nine. These things, everything internally is clearanced, all assembled nice and clean. These things are really, really, because when I look at our other engines and I look at this, every time I'm assembling it, I'm just like, how much do we sell these for again? And I think it's kind of crazy, the price point on these engines, because literally there is $300 in this that we get for doing everything, building the head, assembling the engine, the whole nine. So having a professional, someone that's been through and been around and owns a dyno and a flow bench and has the time, has real time spent doing real research. People might, I don't know what people think, but there's no replacement for research and stuff like that. I mean, that stuff goes so far to actually build these things day in and day out for years on end. Like day in, day out, live and breathe this stuff. You're gonna make mistakes, you're gonna find solutions, you're gonna blow stuff up, you're gonna make stuff extremely strong, you're gonna overbuild, you're gonna underbuild. You're going to find new ways to design heads. You're going to find new ways to trap air. You're going to improve upon camshaft design and lighter weights and your clearances and the way you spec things out, how clean you are when you assemble things. And when somebody that really knows how to build an engine builds an engine, and that has the research and the time and puts it all together, that's probably the best thing you could do within your budget, is to get a cheap assembled engine by a professional. If your budget, say $1,000, the head, cam, and the carb is definitely the three things that you put onto that bottom end. If you already have a Predator bottom end, there's a head, cam, and carb combination that we sell on the site called the Trinity set. I've talked about it in other videos. You could be new to the channel, I'm not sure, but the Trinity set is a head, cam, and carb. And that has been designed to work with each other. The head flows, you know, the cam knows what the head flows, the carb flows what the head flows. We've flowed them individually. We've flowed our manifold tube that we weld onto the head. We flowed our carburetor. We've flowed the head itself. We've tested the cam on that exact setup, and we've tweaked everything. So, and then we've connected the head to the carb with the welded intake tube, and we've flowed that all together. So we've flowed it all individually, we've flowed it as a unit, we've flowed it with the velocity stack, we've flowed it with the pod filter. We know what these things do. We've designed our cam based on real testing. I mean, at that time we didn't even have a dyno, so we were literally paying 3 days a week to go down there for weeks on end with all of our cams in boxes and just printing out papers and having just all of this data. And then we designed 3 cams based off those. The best cam out of all those cams is the cam we use, is the PK RPM3 camshaft. That's why we did the testing, was to find that cam. It's not like you go to a site that sells 100 cams and you're just like constantly like flicking through hoping to get a good one. We sell one cam. We sell the cam that works the best. And it works the best in the most common engines. That's the thing. Big valve high flowing heads that are just built right. We have a head on the site that's $399. That's basically this head right here. So that's a $400 head that will give you so much performance on your engine. So we have another one here. This is one of them. This is just out of the shop. This hasn't been stickered and cleaned yet, but you can take a look at this head. I mean, they're just made perfectly. They're just beautiful, beautiful heads. You know, they're just gorgeous. These are just masterpieces. The valve seal is incredible. These aren't even lapped and pull full vacuum pressure. You take these things and lap them like 2 seconds with some light, fine. I mean, it's just flawless. We've also got another couple of these here that are getting done. These we're in for our intake tubes. We have a port matching service now, because on the Trinity set and stuff like that, we have welded intake tubes, and the guy that owned these was actually disqualified. I think he lapped second place or something like that, and he was disqualified for being too fast. So what are you going to do in that situation? You're going to find the next best thing. So he actually he called me and he says, "Hey, can we cut the welded intake tubes off this head, off this head?" He bought 2 complete engines actually. The nicer engines on the site, real nice engines, powerful engines, and he was just dominating. They threw him out. They said, "You're too fast, man." You know, Paul's Karts, best kept secret. You know, I can't get guys to run my stickers. You know, every time I talk to somebody, I'm like, "Hey man, I saw you on Facebook or I seen you on YouTube." It's like, where are my stickers? "Oh man, it's a grudge bike. We don't want to put," or man, all the guys at the pits will come in and they'll see my cart, and it's like, man, it's like, just, you're so good that nobody couldn't even put your stickers on the carts or the bikes. That's just ridiculous. Best kept secret, I'm telling you. But hey, you know, if you got something that works, and you're in a race, you know, if you race in go-karts and you're racing for money, or if you're drag racing mini bikes and there's money on the line, you don't want the guy next to you to know how you got so fast. Excuse me. But, you know, so, I mean, I can get it. But, you know, whenever you're going and you're going to do a build, have a budget, have a plan, and get things that are known to work together. I've had so many calls this week alone, and texts and emails with really nice customers that are really appreciative. I've been taking my time talking to people, you know, helping them figure out what to get into build-wise that works for them. And, you know, I'm just really glad that I have this opportunity to be able to help and to be where I am and to be at the level that we're at professionally and competition-wise, and to be operating at this level and being at the top of our game in that level. So I'm really proud of this, and I'm going to be, just like this video, this is basically going to be the start to it. This is, I'm basically just going to be talking about some stuff that I've learned over the years in a bunch of videos. So this is going to be just like, you know, step 1 or the first of the series, where it's just, you know, the planning of the build. You know, get something that works, and we'll go and we'll start breaking down. I would like to do this live, but I don't know how to do any of that. I'd love to have some back and forth with customers, be able to answer questions live, right on the site, so I would know because to me, I might pass something to me that just seems like common knowledge, but to somebody that's just starting off, maybe they don't know that, and maybe they have a question about something I said, and I really wish that it was more interactive on that level. Especially when I have the time and I'm taking the time to do it, like now, where I'm taking the time to make this video. I wish I had, you know, that ability to talk to the customers at that time. A lot of people will want to talk when it's just not the best time for me, and I can appreciate that. And you know, it's on one hand, it's like, you know, I'm trying to get something done, but I will take a beat, and you know, now I'll kind of like just say, all right, let me just slow down real quick and see if I can help this guy out. But sometimes it's just impossible to stop what you're doing. You know, if you know, 2 hands full, you know, sweat on the brow, you know, just dirty working. So stuff like that is really hard, and we spend a lot of our time in that exact you know, situation where it's just, you know, bent over, asses and elbows, just working. As you can see, we got an engine, and you know, what is this? 4, 1, 2, 3. The head on that 4. We got this one here with the welded intake tube 5. You know, we got a bunch of carbs that we had made 6. This is actually a really cool carb. This is our Sniper. It's a really cool carb. It's our M5 Sniper carb. It's not on the site yet. Set up for M5. Beast. We do sell a lot of stuff. there's going to be an amazing video coming up, guys. Stay real tuned to these, I don't know what I'm going to call them yet, like Kart Talk or something like that, or, you know, I don't know. If you guys could think of a title to call these videos, but yeah, I'm Paul. This is Paul's Karts. You can check out the site, paulskarts.com. Website paulskarts.com. On there we got this engine, we got the cylinder heads, we got more. If you guys want to contact me through the site. There's a contact us button. That's through site contact us button. If you want to email me, you can email me at paulskarts@gmail.com. Email paulskarts@gmail.com. If you want to text or call, preferably text is 781-492-7358. Again, 781-492-7358. So guys, I'm Paul. This is Paul's Karts. This is the Predator 212. I don't know what we have this listed as on the site, but it's like $1,500, dude. This thing is an absolute steal. Grab this while we still have it listed before we up that price. I'm really thinking about that, seriously. Especially before that, you know, post-race season bash hits. Right now, you know, summer they say is a slow season, but, you know, I wish guys could really understand how many build slips we have. These are all cylinder heads and engines, you know, all of our daily orders, like all the parts. Parts just go right out. But we're always bringing new parts to the site, so look into that. We're going to be bringing the MSD coils to the big block stuff. This MSD coil, the MSD coil does not come with the ground strap. The ground strap comes with the standard coil. There's two coils. There is, like these are the MSDs here. So they come in different colors. I grabbed two white ones. I thought I was grabbing two different colors. They come in these. Here's a blue and a red. So these are the MSDs. They don't come with the ground strap. And then we have ones that come with the ground strap, which are these. They have like the black boot, and they have the ground strap. These ones I like better. It's basically a trade-off. We're trying to keep the price around the same. So this is a 100% silicone boot. This is a 100% silicone boot. Some people just like the MSD tag. These boots cost more money. So and then we actually sell this coil for a little bit less, because what we did was we killed the ground strap to keep it at the same price. You can add the ground strap, I think, through the listing, or you can add the ground strap separate on the site under ignition systems, under small block or big block. I think you can just add the ground strap separate. Also, people were having questions about how to set up the ground wire. So maybe I'll do a video on that. But if you look right here, this is how we set them up. We come off the top coil bolt. We do give instructions on how to do this. But what I'll do is maybe I'll snap some pictures and put some pictures on the site or something, so they're just there. But what we do is we come off the top bolt. We'll snake it up, and then we'll take and we'll bend this. These are like those, has like a hole in it. And we'll just hold it with a pair of pliers and tap on it with a hammer to bend it up. And then we'll just bolt it in here so it's sticking up. I think it looks cooler when it's sticking up than sticking back. So we'll put a little bend in ours, and we'll just, there's a bolt hole right here in the head that's just that's not used. So we use that to tie in our ground strap to our head. And it's right next to the, some of the head gasket material is weird. Like it's like plastic. Some of those weird fibers and stuff like that. Some of those are like, you know, non-conductive. So, you know, we always like to try to bolt it as close to the spark plug as possible. Plus, and we actually changed and updated our ground strap wire. it used to be like this plastic, or it used to be like this band, like a strap almost, like a band within a tube, like a two-part thing. And now we've got, because it didn't have great flexibility, and in reality, the setup, like when you're making it and you're just looking at it on a bench and you're like, okay, you know, about this long. In reality, they were almost like we were giving away too much material. They were almost too long, so to make some of the weird bends, they would kink, and I don't like that. I know if the connection's there, it works, but I'm a big visual guy. Things have to work and look good in my book. I don't know. I'm crazy, man. I guess that's just that Boston air. But things have to look good to me. So we ended up switching to we still go with the tinned copper, just because it's better, the silver wire, because it's just a better conductor, that silver. So yeah, just swing that up and connect that to the head there, and that's great. But yeah, so check this out on the site, guys. I'm Paul. This is Paul's Karts. I love you guys. Thank you for everything. I really appreciate your business. I appreciate you watching this video. And for all you guys out there that are, you know, suffering from coronavirus or illness or something like that, I wish you all the best. Anybody that's had accident or something like that and they're healing, I wish them the best. I wish you guys all the best. Sending out positive energy, and God bless. All right, guys. Paul from Paul's Karts. Have a good day.